Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football for AC Milan against Newcastle United in the Champions League. Apologies, I'm an absolute prat. I thought it was kicking off at 6 o'clock and I was just having a sleep. So apologies for being a little bit late. There is a story behind it, but the story we need to get up and running here is that there is a game of football being played at the moment. The timer is there. And apologies for being late. That's all I can only say. Apologies for being late. I'll tell you the story about it in a moment. But let's get up to date with the team news, because I'm telling you what, it's fresh for me as well. It's fresh news for me. Can Newcastle do well here? What a group they're in as well. It's an incredible group with Dortmund, PSG, Milan, and Newcastle. And you feel that Newcastle do need to get something in this game, because I think Newcastle can come through this group. There are people out there that think they can't. I think Newcastle can come through this group, but to do it, they're going to have to, I think, exert their authority on on Milan and on to Dortmund, because I think PSG will be the favourites for the group. So that's what they're going to have to do, and to do that, they're going to have to, go to the San Siro and go to Dortmund and get results. And they've started off very well here. Of course, it's the return of Tonali. They've put a good couple of crosses in early doors here. Let's go through the team news. Milan actually got their arse handed on a plate at the weekend by Inter Milan. So, but in the first few minutes, 78% possession for AC Milan. But Newcastle have looked quite good in the few minutes. So, Milan, Magnon in goal. Calabria, Thiaw Tomori, of course, of England. Well, he never plays for England because of Maguire. Hernandez, Loftus-Cheek, another English player. Krunic, Pobega, Chukwueze, Giroud, and Lau. Not a bad front three, that. Leao and Chukwueze are good wingers. But Newcastle have got Pope, Trippier, Shaw, Botman, Byrne. Longstaff, Gomes, and Tonali. And then Murphy, Isaac, and Gordon. On their bench, they've got Callum Wilson, Harvey Barnes, Almiron, but no starting place for those. He's gone with Murphy. So, look, it's going to be an interesting game, this. And I think this group is the best group in the tournament, with Dortmund and PSG, obviously, in it. I'm intrigued to watch this group. This is the group I'm most interested in beyond Manchester United, because I think actually every game is going to be fantastic. Now, in relation to match predictions, 52% have gone with an AC Milan win. And 30% have gone with a Newcastle win. 18% have gone with the draw. Okay. Well, I'm in a very positive mood, and I'm going to tell you why. I've just found out that my evil stepmother is dying. No, not really. I think I did have an evil stepmother, actually. She called me a bit of a shit. Anyway, don't get involved in that. Maybe she was right. But no, literally about, I don't know whether anyone's ever had this. Some people have a match fitness test because they've got a tight hamstring. I had a match fitness test because I had a migraine. This is the truth. I had a migraine. The last time I had a migraine was about 5 years ago. And I don't know why it started 5 years ago, but I was just sat doing some work and my eyes just went all like blurry and I got a really bad headache. And I don't know what triggered it. And in the work I do, it's a bloody nightmare because I look at screens a lot. So anyway, I know what triggered it today. I'd just been to the toilet and I didn't want to use my good aftershave. So I used my rubbish aftershave that I never use, that's in the drawer. So I sprayed it a few times and it's very strong. And within seconds, I was getting all, cloudy eyes, headache. And so I had this migraine. And this was about half an hour ago. So I went in my room and just lay there with a mask over my face, not a Batman mask, like eye mask, with my eyes shut for 10 minutes, and it turned into 20 minutes, and the next thing I know, I was a little bit so a little bit late, but yeah, migraine. I nearly didn't do the stream because I would not have been able to read the chat, and now I just feel, if you ever had a migraine, you do feel like you've still got a headache, and you feel quite fatigued, but it must be a world record for getting over a migraine in 30 minutes, but there we go. Milan are on the attack here. It's quite a good game, quite an open game. And there's an offside there. That's a bit silly. Thanks everybody who's tuning in anyway. Random said, I had a tooth that triggered mine. Yeah, they're not very nice, Chris. Not very nice. It's not just a headache. You can't read. Your eyes just start doing weird shit. And the best thing you can do is go and lie in a darkened room and cover your eyes up with something. I've taken some paracetamol, Zemish, already. Alexander says, I've just watched your video about Chelsea in crisis. Are you going to do one about United? I do one every day, mate. It's called the United Stand. Yeah. Charlie says, true commitment, fair enough. Well, it's not just the money that makes me do it. That's what some people would say. But it's not. It's actually the company, the conversation. Put a cold cloth on your forehead. You know what? There used to be something you could get. I think they used to call it forehead. You used to get this stick and stick it across your forehead and it was meant to work. Rubbish. Maguire out for Bayern is good news, says Nathan. Well, I don't think it is good news. I don't actually think he's injured, really. Harry Maguire never gets injured, so I don't know what's going on there. But the press conference with Ten Hag is coming up on the United Stand at about 6:30. I'll react to that after this at about 8 o'clock. But we have got a live reaction to the press conference if you're interested. I'll certainly be reading some of the quotes out. It's not on here, it's on the United Stand, but I'll certainly be having a look. Sure it wasn't a Pritt stick. It was a Pratt stick, Wilf. Thank you. Oh, thanks everyone who's listening to the podcast, by the way. Absolute legends. It's just so... I don't want to be a big head, but our podcast is just so popular. It does so well. And it's because of you lot, so thank you very much. But I think, yeah, we did it. We did a section about the Champions League format for next season. It's incredibly bad. I don't know whether anybody is fully aware of it, but it's absolutely stupid what they're going to do with the Champions League next year. In fact, maybe that's something we could talk about on this stream in more depth, because the new Champions League structure from next season is disgusting, and it's going to dilute the Premier League and the Champions League massively. So you'll have no more group stage. It'll just be straight into this League of 36 bullshit. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yep. I'll have a listen when I have a bath later. Says just yeah, it only came out today. So if you have not given it a listen, I've actually just popped the link in the live chat. You can download it for later. I'm about halfway through it. Some people say that's narcissistic to listen to yourself on a podcast, but you know what? I just like listening to myself. I'm arrogant. No, I don't watch my YouTube videos. I can't be arsed with that. But I like listening to myself on the podcast because I forget what I talk about. And sometimes when I'm talking, I don't remember what I've said. So I actually find it quite it's research at the end of the day. Good shot, good save. Good shot from Milan, good save from Pope. It I liked where it was, and they're on the back post. And another save by Pope. And another one. That's his job. And he's done well. Connor says, I think there is change needed in the Champions League. The group stages are boring. But the positive thing... Hi, Mark. I'm from America in colleges and was wondering what you thought about studying abroad in London. London's a great place, Zenon. It's a great place. The current Champions League system is 40... I mean, look at... How can you be bored of this? AC Milan, Dortmund, PSG and Newcastle in one group, and only two of them go through to the knockout stage. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Two teams are going out. One of them's going to the Europa League. One of them's going nowhere. Milan are in again. Down the right-hand side. Cut it back, you prat. Oh, what a terrible cut back. Rubbish. That was Loftus-Cheek. Yeah, get back to Chelsea. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Have you listened to Oasthouse Season 3 yet, says Aaron? I've listened to about 4 of them. Another save by Pope. They're all over them at the moment, AC Milan. All over them. But how did Loftus-Cheek not see the cutback? They're not going to replay it. There's actually a handball in that as well. Botman, it lands on his hand. They won't give a penalty for that, but could have been. Timer's off. Oh, I'm not getting into a chat about the timer. Back post. Oh, my God. How have AC Milan not scored in the last couple of minutes? They're absolutely all over them. All over them like a rash. The only rash I've ever had. Stop talking about the timer in the chat. The only rash I've ever had was chicken pox. What days are your podcasts out? It's out today, Charlie. It comes out on a Tuesday. It normally comes out at 2 o'clock, but we put it out at 7 o'clock this morning because there was a section on the Champions League, so I thought, get it out early. If you keep talking about the timer, I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to sit here and stare. It's not the first time that's happened on That's Football. I'll just sit here and stare and not do anything if you keep going on about it. Mark, have a great job now, but how did you manage your work-life balance when you didn't like it in the police? Did you hate Monday to Friday and waited for the weekend, says Vivek? You didn't work Monday to Friday in the police, mate. I'm going to have a lovely bath tonight, Kathy. That sounds like I want to have a bath with Kathy. I'm not going to. Third grade school teacher bridge. Only legends know what I'm referring to. If you don't stop it, I'm not... Right, I can sit here all day. I won't say anything. I'm not going to talk to you. What you can say timer's off if you want, but is it off in the sense that you're behind? Because I've got 15 minutes and 40 seconds and it's only about 2 seconds what I've got on the screen, so I don't really know it's worth talking about. Predictions for tomorrow's game against Bayern. I think United are going to lose, mate. Yeah, I think they're going to lose. Well, a lot of people are saying the time is off by about a couple of seconds, but a lot of people are saying it's right. So we'll keep it as it is. Actually, I probably can change it because I'll go manual. It is about 3 seconds off for me as well. I'm using because we get our data from LiveScore, from OneFootball. So all the team lineups, the stats, the score, the timer, all comes through from there. Make sure you download it for free, by the way, OneFootball. Links in the description, and you can scan the QR code as well. Big shout out to them. They do the individual stats for the players as well. Obviously, we flashed the team news and the team stats up, so make sure you download it. Get all your latest breaking football news and transfer news on OneFootball. But I will just do this for you because I'm kind. So I've got 17 minutes and 1. Let me just wait. This is the group of death. You're right, Ian. See, that's absolutely second for second what I've got on my screen now. Prediction for PSG Dortmund, says Grocer. I actually think PSG look quite good this season. Will you ever come to Scotland, says Leon? I will. I'm not doing the PSG game, no. Oh, another good shot from distance, straight at Pope again. But it's all AC Milan at the moment. They're peppering that goal like you pepper a steak. Yeah, so the Champions League next season, we've got this group of death, which is fantastic, and only 2 teams go through. Brilliant. You know, real drama in the group stage. Next season, it's one league of 36. You play 8 games, 4 home, 4 away. If you play Real Madrid, you won't play them home and away. You play them once. So you'll play 8 games. Your points go in the 36-team league, of which you don't play everybody. And then the top 8, after 8 games, they go through. But then from 9th to 24, they play a playoff. So you play 8 games. But even if you lose a few, the chances are you'll get to the playoff anyway, because 24 of the 36 teams go to the go to a playoff. It's bloody ridiculous. It's all about this. It's dilution of quality. It's absolute shit. It's rubbish. And it's all about... And of course, players are playing more games. Fans will get a dilution because people will pick up more injuries. It's just about money. Money, money, money. That's all it's about. Are you going to do Man City versus Red Star Belgrade, says Paul. Mate, I would rather watch a snail fight a slug than watch Man City play Red Star Belgrade. Be more entertaining and fast, better paced. Yeah, no one wants to do that. Okay, I'm telling you, I would love to get Leao at Arsenal, says Nelly. How do they pick the fixtures, says LJ? So basically what they do is there's 36 teams in the league next year and they're broken down into 4 pots. Sound familiar? So you play 2 games against pot 1, 2 games against pot 2, 2 games against pot 3, 2 games against pot 4. It's absolute shite. It's rubbish. And all it is UEFA shitting themselves about the Super League and coming up with something that's slightly similar. It's rubbish. I can't speak. Listen to the podcast because I go into it a lot more, but it's absolutely disgusting. Milan looked dangerous, says James. Well, the thing is, I mean, when I first turned it on after 5 minutes, Newcastle put a good couple of crosses in. But since then, AC Milan have absolutely dominated them. As you can see, they've had 9 shots, 6 on target. I mean, that's amazing. Like, can we just get that back? Can we just get that back? That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Look, 9 shots for AC Milan, 6 on target. They're absolutely, as I said, they're dominating those stats. It is basically what the Super League was. Difference is it's organised by UEFA. The new World Cup format proposal is mediocre also. They're ruining the game, says Jose. Mate, I absolutely agree. What can we do as fans? Absolutely nothing. I'm disgusted by the new Champions League format. And we can do nothing about it because we're powerless as fans. We just have to swallow it, don't we? And I think that's... It's a real shame. It's a real shame because I think the current format works a lot better, but they just want to get more games and earn more money. I'll call it out for what it is. It's a disgrace. And also it's going to damage the Premier League because we're going to go from top 4 to top 5, which dilutes the Premier League as well. All they're doing is diluting the competitive element. The Milan, Newcastle, Dortmund, PSG group is really exciting for early in the season to have a group of death. You won't have that in the Champions League anymore, because it's a league with 36 teams in it who only play 8 games till the end of January. And then you have the playoff where, most teams get to play in that. It's so close to the NFL now. It really is. It's like, it's all about how many games you play. More games, more money. Forget the competition. That's what it's all about. And the Premier League's going to go the same way because you get an extra spot in the Champions League if you're in the top 2 coefficients in Europe. Well, England has been in the top 2 for the last 7 out of the last 8 years. So 5th place is probably going to get in the Champions League every year in the Premier League, which dilutes the quality of the Premier League because the top 4 race is always interesting. I don't think the top 5 race is going to be interesting. Will United ever win the Premier League again, says Floppy? Well, you would expect they will at some point in the future, but, never say never. My name is James, says that Isaac has been pocketed by Tamori so far. I'd say Newcastle are fortunate to be 0-0 at the moment. Have created no chances, and AC Milan have been the better side, which has surprised me. I think Newcastle have to be able to implement their game here. Yeah, I think it's a bit like Spurs, isn't it? If Spurs got some sort of rich owners, I think they could win the league. How is that like the NFL? They play 17 games a season, says Kenneth. Oh, tell Kenneth I've got a headache. I'm not here to be questioned, Kenneth. If you're too thick to realise what I'm talking about, then I ain't got time for you, Kenneth. I mean, at the end of the day, what I mean is it's like the NFL because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to franchise football. We don't want relegation. They just want more games. They just want a system where, the league. I mean, let's be honest. The NFL games they play at the moment, it doesn't get interesting until the Super Bowl, and loads of teams qualify for the Super Bowl. That's what I mean. The new Champions League format has got 36 teams in it. They play 8 games each, but 24 of them then go to a bloody playoff. I mean, 66% of the teams in the Champions League stage will go through to the knockout stage anyway. I mean, how bloody interesting is that? If you're Barcelona, Real Madrid, PSG, Man City, you know you're going to go through to the knockout stage because there's going to be some right shit in there that's going to finish in the bottom 33%. That's my point. It's taken away the competitive edge and basically this is what the Super League was always about. It was about non-competition for the big teams. So basically Real Madrid get to play 8 games and make 8 times revenue, knowing that they'll be playing in the knockout stage as well. That's what it's all about. More games, more money for the big clubs. Tonali looks shock against his old club. Crowd is living in his head. Ash says it's the same now. Oh, don't. How is a 36 team league with 8 games the same as as a group stage with 6 games? It's not the same. Any weekend watch along, says Paul. The weekend games are a little bit shit, to be honest. There's no Friday night game, which is a good thing, but there's also no Saturday 12:30 game, which I always like. The Man United are playing at 8 o'clock on Saturday night against Burnley, which I can't stand as well. So I might do the 3 o'clocks, but they're not great. Palace, Fulham, Luton, Wolves, and Man City, Forest. The 5:30 game shit, Brentford, Everton. But Sunday's quite good. I will do 2 o'clocks on Sunday because it's the North London derby, Arsenal against Tottenham. There's actually Sunday's the best day. You've got Arsenal, Tottenham, Brighton, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Villa, and Liverpool, West Ham all kicking off at 2 o'clock. Makes the 3 o'clock Saturday kickoffs look like a Wish version. Erwin says, "Can you pause your game for a minute, Mark? I'm 1 minute 24 behind you." Imagine. A2 says, "Are Milan this good, or are Newcastle just not good enough?" Who do you want to win, Mark? Says Got Point. I don't really mind. I really don't mind. I think judging on the first 26 minutes, Milan will win. But yeah, I don't mind. It's going to be interesting to see what the impact of the Champions League is on Newcastle, really, because they're a good side, but obviously last season, no European football, and they had a lot of energy. Are they going to have that same energy this season, or is it going to have an impact on them? And obviously, I think most people would say, well, of course it's going to have an impact on them. But it's 0-0 here at the moment. For all the attacking intent of AC Milan, it's 0-0. And I think Eddie Howe will be happy with that. And he'll just be hoping that his team can grow into it. And if they do get a shot on goal, which they haven't had yet, then maybe they can score and they've got something to hold on to. At the moment, it's a point. Do 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 do. Brian Gallagher says, on the Sancho situation, there is no evidence that Sancho hasn't been training well, only what the manager said in public. So why can't he express his feelings in public? If Eric Ten Hag can, why can't he? I'll tell you what, Brian, I would never give you a job. That's all I'm going to say. I would hate Brian to work for me. You know, an employee who thinks he can publicly take the piss out of his boss. Yeah. I ain't giving you a job, Brian. I mean, you've sort of answered your own question there. The whole point of it is that the manager is in charge and the manager is a superior to you. So if the manager tells you you're not working hard enough, you need to either leave or respect. What you don't do as an employee or as a player is when the manager says you're not working hard enough and that's why you're not being picked. You don't go publicly and say he's wrong. I mean, what's the purpose of that? The manager picks the team. If I said to you, Brian, you're not playing because I think you're not good enough, and you go on Twitter and say, I am good enough, the manager's wrong, what part of I'm the manager don't you understand? I'm the boss. It's up to me who I pick. If you don't like it, you leave. But you don't start publicly undermining the manager like that. It lacks respect. 5 Cantona says, Man United have had no identity since Giggs and Valencia left. Until they play with that style of winger again, we won't recognise them. It would be time for 12 Cantonas soon, won't it? I like this time of year. I call it autumn. And so does everybody else, but I like it. I wouldn't like City winning the Champions League again. It's boring, says Floppy. I think they're going to win the Champions League and the Premier League again. I don't see anybody else stopping them, really. I think we should donate some brain cells to Brian because the brain is an empty husk, says Nigel. Well, come on, we don't need to be like that. Hi, Mark. Do you think that Newcastle's transfer window was better than Man United's with respect to where they want to be at the end of the season, says Jan? Well, Newcastle are just on the attack here. That's a lovely ball. Should have took a tumble. Did. Referee says no. I think Longstaff needed to go down quicker there. That's what she said. He did. He took too long to go down. And I think if he'd gone down with the first touch, it would have been more convincing. If he keeps this in, and he has kept it in, he's very wide, AC Milan. Lovely cross. Oh, my God. Giroud on the front post. Misses. Milan have done everything right, apart from put the ball in the back of the net. Lovely cross to the front post, and Giroud's just put it into the side netting. They can't finish the dinner, says Giorno. Terrible finishing. Yeah, that's never a penalty, Longstaff. He's gone down too late. If he'd gone down on the first shove, which he sort of did, he was just so slow. He's pushed me over. He's pushed me over, pet. Winter, spring, summer, or fall. Intercepted by Trippier. Ooh, sorry if I start yawning. I'm just recovering from a migraine, so I will be tired. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. Get involved with That's Football. I'll be doing Man United against Bayern Munich, of course, tomorrow, but that will be on the United stand. What's your thoughts on Real Madrid's chances, says Mark. I think with Real Madrid, you're a fool to write them off. You just never know, do you? And, I mean, they've got a good midfield. Who plays up front for Real Madrid at the moment? Let's have a look at what Real Madrid's... I don't watch La Liga much. I'll be honest, I don't watch La Liga much. So, let's have a look at their latest lineup. So, Real Madrid beat Real Sociedad at the weekend. And their lineup was... Kepa, Carvajal, Rudiger, Alaba, Garcia, Tchouaméni, Valverde, Cruz, Bellingham, Joselu, and Rodrigo. There they go again. Liao. Still Liao. Oh my God. If they... I tell you what. Off the line... I can't believe it. I actually can't believe AC Milan haven't scored. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. They just had so many opportunities and it's still 0-0. I mean, it's one of those games where it's 0-0 And it could be like 3 or 4-0. What's the stats looking like? They must have had 11 shots now. Pope's just got it out for a corner there. Yeah, 10 shots to 0, 6 shots on target. I mean, look, they've been really good around the box. What do you think of Barcelona's chances, says Mohammed? Yeah, I think Barcelona are really hard to predict, aren't they? Saunter says Liao's already said he won't come to the UK because of the weather. Weatherist. It's a bit. That's not very nice, is it? You know. Your man's still sticking to his 3-0 prediction. UK weather sucks, says Malps. It is very unpredictable. It's really unpredictable. I mean, I obviously live in the UK. So last summer, we had about 3 weeks where it was ridiculously hot. This summer, we had a couple of weeks in June, and then July and August, it never really stopped raining. In the winter, last winter, I think we had 2 weeks before Christmas where it was really cold, and the rest of the time it's just windy and rainy. No snow. So it's just a crap climate, really. You never get any consistent hot weather that you can predict, and you never get any cold weather and snow that you can predict. It's just changeable. Mediocre, that's the word. You get nice grass, though, says Robbie. You do. 35 minutes gone. I missed the first 5 minutes. I thought it was a 6 o'clock kickoff. Mark, if you're a City fan, would you rather win the Champions League again this season if it meant that Pep leaves at the end of the season, says the Outlaw Gaming? I don't think Pep will leave, though. It's so bloody easy. Why not just keep breaking... Why don't you just keep breaking records? Mark, is United Stand coming back for EA Sports FC? It will do at some point, Optimistic Games, but I'm going to start off with the United career mode. Danielle says, Mark, how far could United reach in the Champions League if the whole squad is fit? Well, AC Milan went to the semi-final, so anything's possible, isn't it? Here's AC Milan on the attack again. He's going to go wide. I mean, Chukwueze should be having Dan Burn on toast, really. Cross the back post. Giroud, Chukwueze. Oh my God! I just chance after chance after chance. I mean, he's nowhere near scoring, but Liao gets it on the back post, heads it to the other back post, and Chukwueze heads it into Rosed. Mark, my boyfriend hates Eddie Howe, assistant coach. He's so noisy, says Saley. I don't even know his name. I know. I feel like I should know his name because everybody knows his name, but I know who you're talking about. I think he just loves the attention. I think he's a bit of a big head. Hi Mark, what is the recruitment process at the United Stand and have you considered expanding the team globally, says Jan. Now's not the time, Jan. I'm trying to just keep questions really simple, low IQ, because my head's killing. Any watch along later, says Abs. No, I'm not doing Man City. I'd rather... No, I'm not doing that. I'm going to do a video on the United Stand for about 8 o'clock. Newcastle nearly had a shot, but it was blocked. And here's Liao. Defended as well there. Well, I think Newcastle will be very happy with this at the moment. Darius says selfish, Mark. You're lucky I'm doing this one. Or unlucky, however you look at it. 15 shots for fucking Milan and it's 0-0. Look at them stats. Look at them stats. Unbelievable. 15 shots, 7 on target. Newcastle have had 0. And it's 0-0. I'm starting to think Newcastle might get something here. It's got that sort of feel to it, hasn't it? Do PSG versus Dortmund, Mark, says Alex. You going to do any Europa League watch-alongs? Absolutely not. I'm doing absolutely everything I can on a Thursday night, but watching football. As a United fan, you get so used to Thursday night football, I'm actually just going to avoid it like the plague. I'm from New York and I went to London last week. Have to say English food is shocking, says Daniel. In what way? Like there's a lot of American food you can get. Watch Newcastle's first shot go in, says Floppy. And Mark, Celtic or Rangers? I never have answered that question, and I never will. Beans on toast is a... beans on toast must be an English dish. The only thing... look, I like going to Spain and Portugal and places like that. Their sliced bread is crap, though. Their fresh bread's good, but their sliced pan is rubbish. Calabria's just been booked there. I think he's moaning at the referee, saying, I'm the captain, I'm allowed to talk at the referee, but he's just been booked for dissent. My boyfriend is a Chelsea fan, has 3 of them in FPL, says Saley. Yeah, that's not the way to play FPL, as I found out this weekend. Club loyalty in FPL will cost you. I had a Nana. Oh, well, they've had a shot. Newcastle have had a shot in the 40th minute there. Murphy, way over the bar, but it will count as a shot. I think he's just done that to get their stats up. M. Parker says, have you ever considered that United was always a B-grade team that overachieved with Ferguson? He turned average players into superstars. Parker, have you ever considered reading a book? I mean, I've never heard such a shit comment in all my life. Have I ever considered that Man United were a B-grade side that Sir Alex Ferguson overachieved with? Have you ever heard of the word history? Are you having a laugh? So you're trying to say that Man United was some shit team that Sir Alex Ferguson overachieved with? Oh my God. Go and do some bloody history, mate. Ben says, I wouldn't argue with someone called Parker. It's not worth it. Feels like the true old school Champions League with United and Arsenal and without Chelsea, says Fordham. I don't think Chelsea will be back in the Champions League next year either. How many years do you think it's going to take for Chelsea to get back in the Champions League? I mean, they've got a squad full of Champions League players, but I can't see them being in the top 4 this year. I really can't. I mean, maybe 5th, but I just can't see it. Parker's upset me with that comment. Parker, your dog's a nonce. If you've got a dog, if you've got a cat, that's a nonce as well. However many years their players' contracts are, says Jamo. Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done at Chelsea. His mum does his hair. I still think that's one of my funniest clips. I don't even know where it came from. I listened to it back after the game and I was just laughing my head off. 15,000 tuning in at 6:30. Where's everybody watching from? Does nobody go to work anymore? I mean, I know it's not just a UK audience. That's why I've said. Our New York chopped cheese and pizza is next level, Daniel. I need, you know what? I need to come to New York. I was meant to come to New York this summer. I want to come to New York, and I really want to come to New York. I want to get an apartment that's got really good internet so I can still do my streams. And I want to spend, a good week in New York eating food and, eating and meeting. And, just there's so much about New York that people tell me about. I know the other areas of the world as well. But I just need to get an apartment. The problem is if you go to hotels, I stayed in a hotel in Dublin when I did the United Stand tour, and I couldn't believe it. I was in the middle of Dublin. It was a nice hotel. Ricky recommended it to me. I don't want to name the hotel because they might lose business. But it was a nice hotel, and everything about it was nice, right? But listen to this: internet was slower than a bloody cat's tail, and It only had 6 channels on the TV. I went to Dublin to do a couple of more shows a couple of months later. I stayed in a cheaper hotel. Internet was super fast. And they had about 30 channels on it. And I was like, "What? I don't know what I was paying extra. I don't know why I was... your bed looks nice. Still use it for the same thing. Sleeping and shagging. Rock and roll. I was on tour." The wife was there. If I was... Mist says if he was gay, he'd be gay for Giroud. Mist, I think that may mean that you are curious. The fact that you are looking at Giroud and saying, if you were gay, you'd have a go, means that you're probably gay curious, which is absolutely fine. Maybe you need to ask yourself some questions, because I don't even think like that. I can't look at Giroud and go, if I was, I'd go for him. Absolutely not. I don't see the difference between... In relation to attraction, I don't see the difference between Giroud and Harry Maguire. To me, it's just a stone cold no. But interesting. People say that this is just a football channel. It's a football entertainment channel. We've got a lad in the chat who might be coming out. Let's applaud him. This is great news. Who do you think will be a dark horse in the Champions? We've had people proposing on here. We've had people telling us about the birth of their child. We had somebody the other day saying that their dad died, and now we've got somebody coming out. It's great. Who do you think will be it's a community, and in a community you've got diversity, and it's half time. It's half time here, and it's 0-0. It's a miracle. I tell you what, it's a bloody miracle. It's 0-0. It's absolutely miraculous. There is no doubt about that. And who do you think will be a dark horse in the Champions League? I think PSV will go far. But I actually think PSG could be a dark horse in the tournament this year, because they haven't got Messi, they haven't got Neymar. It's a new PSG. I think we should be bringing up the conversation that Neymar at Barca was better than any version of the Ghost of Paris, says Savage. Thank you very much. And Mark is straighter than the sun. Hey, come on. The sun isn't... Hey, come on. Look, I don't want it to turn into that sort of chat, but... I'm comfortable with talking about it. But yeah, back on the hotel thing. Yeah, I stayed in this hotel in Dublin. The internet was crap. So I'm not a big fan of staying in hotels. So what I think I want to do is go to New York, spend a week there, but get an apartment. Hopefully somebody rich says, I watch the United stand, you can use my apartment for a week. But I don't want them to stay in it as well. They can piss off. I don't want to be flat sharing. I don't want to do an episode of Friends. I'm not that sociable. I need my own space. Airbnb is a good idea, says Gavin. Never done it. I'm really slow, actually. Really slow. I only started using Uber 3 weeks ago. And it's a great conversation when you're telling people how great Uber is and they've been using it for years. I've only been using it for 3 weeks. Mike, you are blocked. Get out. Yeah, I only started using Uber 3 weeks ago, and I was sat there with Seb going, look, here's my Uber. It's around the corner. Amazing technology. It was only 6 months ago I found out you could do WhatsApp on your desktop. So when you're at work, you can type out WhatsApp instead of doing it on your phone. Amazing. Mark, can you please do a demo of how to do a super chat on YouTube for Saley's boyfriend? I'm tired of her and her boyfriend, for all she might just be a loner, says Sakin. And I'm a web developer in Seattle. I watch from work. Also, my family and I might move to Reading for her job. Have you been, and how is it, says Jason. God, from Seattle to Reading. That's like being in the Premier League and you don't get relegated to the Championship. You go down to the National League. Nothing against Reading, but Seattle is way better. So yeah, Reading is in the top 50 cities in the UK. Reading wouldn't be there, let's put it that way. There we go. What do you make of Stoke City with the English record of transfers at 17 in one window, says Zoe. Didn't know about that. Reading in the mud, says Christian. No, Mark, come and manage Bury, says Harry. Mate, I was having a joke and the Bury admin said we'll take a pass on that. Well, I don't know we'll take a hard pass on that. Well, that's been the problem with your team. They can't fucking pass. That's why you're so shit. You could do with a coach that can actually play good football. But I wouldn't manage Bury. It's way below me. I thought Bury were in League 2. They're in some bloody Cheshire League or something like that. Get stuffed. I ain't doing that. I could probably buy Bury and bury it like a cat buries a shit rather than manage it. But look, nothing against Bury, but don't start giving it the big un. Man United was by far and large a great team under Sir Alex Ferguson, but there were seasons when Sir Alex Ferguson did overachieve, considering what he had at his disposal. Says somebody, Parker's got you. He's pulling you in. Would you do a National League watch-along when there is no Prem, says the HB? I would. I don't know whether anybody would watch it. And would you do Goldbridge versus Gary Neville on the next Misfits, says Caped Crusader? £1 million of his money and £1,000 of my money. Let's do it for charity. Goldbridge in the form of his life tonight. It's because I'm on the paracetamol because of my headache. I don't think Gary Neville would get in a boxing ring with me, considering he's scared to have a bloody debate about football with me, and he was an ex-Man United and England legend, and he's terrified of having a conversation with me. You know, he played for England and Manchester United. I played for Barnstone Colts and my school. You know, it's a big difference. But I've played the game. Peter Parker does it again, infecting the chat, says LJ. And as you'll be the Glazer, I respect Man United and their trophies, says Darius. I thought that said I respect Man United and I'm topless, because you've spelt trophies wrong. Mark, what's your top 3 places to live in the UK, says Jake. Honestly, top 3 places to live in the UK depends what you want to do. If you're single looking to mingle, you've got to go in a city where there's a lot to do. If you are, you know, looking for nice walks and privacy, there's different places. I mean, you can't, you know, I like it down in Devon and Dover and not Dover. Dover's where the boat to France is, isn't it? And oh God, avoid Dover. Don't go there. Devon, Cornwall is nice. I really like York, but I don't think there's a lot to do there. London, Manchester. You can't go wrong with London, Manchester, and probably what's another good city? Depends what you want. Not Stoke. Thank you, Jake. Greetings from Pitu Grande in Honduras, says Savage. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Norwich, I've never been to. Bristol, Bath's better than Bristol. And Birmingham is much improved. I've lived around the Birmingham area for the last 10 years. It's much improved. It wasn't great when I first moved down here, but there's been so much change to it. It is a lot better now. Live in your own country, says Dan. Nothing sets Brexit like Dan. And Blackpool, says Grace. Never been. I'm in Sheffield and it's a nice city, but it's a bit studenty, says DM. And my boyfriend wants to swap Eric Ten Hag and Poch. He loves swapping, says Saley. We don't think you've got a boyfriend, Saley. That's what's going around the chat. Goldbridge versus a polar bear in the next Misfits is a tour. I tell you what, I saw a horrific clip yesterday. I don't know where I saw it. I think it was one of these reels. Anyway, these bloody fat seals, and you can call a seal fat, even they'd admit they're fat. It's actually a benefit to them to have so much blubber on them. These seals are all on not seals, they're not fat. Walruses. You know the ones with the bloody white sticks coming out their mouth? Tusks, that's what I meant. These walruses with their tusks, right? They're all lying on a beach. They're not in Mallorca. It's not sandy. There's no one's selling pineapples. They're lying on this beach made of stones, and then it goes up to this cliff, which is about, it's a high cliff. It's not Cliff Richard singing songs. No one will get him on the radio. But they're up there, and then the next thing you know, this walrus just basically rolls off the edge of the cliff. And as it rolls a little bit, and then it'll fall for like 20 meters, whacks its head on a rock, falls again, basically falls down dead, right? And I'm like, what is it doing? And then another one does it. Now he survives. He's lucky. He doesn't hit his head. I don't know whether walruses have got bones. They're so fat. But I'm like, what are they doing? Why are these walruses falling off a cliff? And it goes back to the top of the cliff and it's obviously going to reveal. And I thought, is Ronan Keating singing or something? But no, it's bloody polar bear coming towards them. And I thought, you know what? And it's funny because walruses do that, don't they? Arr, arr, arr. Oh, I was clapping the walruses because I was like, I'd jump off the cliff as well. At the end of the day, being a walrus is like being a human wrapped in a big mattress. So as long as you don't whack your head full on a rock, you're probably going to survive falling down a cliff because you're so fat. And I thought, you know what? I would definitely jump off a cliff rather than a polar bear get hold of me. And imagine if a polar bear got hold of a walrus. It would be a horrible death because you'll feel it, but it's not going to get to your vital organs for about 10 minutes. In fact, it's probably going to get tired, isn't it? It's probably going to eat half of you and go, oh, I'm tired now. And you're still going to be alive because your heart and your lungs are about 10 inches deep. That's what she said. So, yeah, it was a weird video. I'd have jumped off a cliff anyway. If I was a walrus, I'd jump off a cliff rather than get eaten alive by a polar bear. Guna from Northern Ireland, love the stream, Mark, says Ben. And I tell you what, Attenborough's got nothing on me. And when you get home, will you caress my tummy? I'm a walrus waiting for you, says Paul. Oh, Paul, I've told you. What was the name of the guy that's curious, like Giroud? Call me Scylla. Suicidal walrus. Yeah. I've had loads of dreams like that. I've had loads of dreams where, because I don't like sharks, specifically great white sharks, I've had loads of dreams where I can wake myself up. I sound like a walrus, actually. I figured this out. But I've had loads of dreams where I'm in the sea and there's a shark coming towards me. And all I do is hold my nose, go underwater and drown myself. I actually end up waking up. I don't drown myself. But you know what I mean? That's what I would try and do. If I saw a shark coming towards me, I would try and drown myself. The thing is, what I'd probably do is I'd go underwater, not like it, and quickly come to the surface and go, and then the shark would be there and go, you're dead. Have you considered becoming a comedian, says the Pullman? And no, not really. Top 3 shows, Mark. Mine's Sopranos, Vikings, and Game of Thrones, says Saki. I've only watched one of those. Mark Attenborough. Remember when I used to be able to do a David Attenborough in COVID? I used to do these little walking with Goldbridges. Walking with an L. I'd never do it with an N. I used to do these videos and I'd walk along and I could do David Attenborough. I could do it quite well. I can't do it now. Something like this. The polar bear is an expensive species. I can't do it. Sound like I'm trying to have a crap now. Would you rather be a slug or a moth, says William. Can I just say, in relation to the game, we are doing an AC Milan versus Newcastle watch-along. It's half-time. There's not a lot to discuss. AC Milan have had 15 shots, 7 on target. Newcastle had their first shot on the 40th minute. They've been dominated, but they're doing well. They're doing well to stay in the game, Newcastle, at the moment. Big up Goldbridge. He had me howling with Benjamin McTominay on the United stand. Says Sherry. Please do subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. Liao reminds me a lot of Rashford, says key to success. Yeah, he's a good player. Good player. And will you do going for Goldbridge again, says Blair's video channel. I'm actually thinking about turning it into a podcast. Now I'm in the podcast game. That I'm thinking about doing it. Yeah, because I quite like doing a podcast, so I'm thinking about doing it. That's a reminder to listen to this week's podcast. Came out today. Some really good conversations in there, specifically about the new Champions League format. Goldbridge Saves Football. Links in the live chat, actually. Give it a download for later. Listen to it in the bath or before you go to bed. Trust me, you'll be shaking. Laughing, not wanking. Do you believe in ghosts? Any weird stories, says Jacko? Or I could tell you a few stories about ghosts. Oh, I could. Watch this video about the Ballon d'Or and looking at his season. Would you put Rodri in the conversation, says Max? I agree with you, Max. He'll never get in there, though. Doesn't play in the right position. Hi, Mark. I'm really anxious about our game tomorrow. I wanted us to play Bayern for ages, but I fear we're going to get battered. What are your thoughts? Rob, I think we'll lose. I do think we'll lose. I don't think we're capable of winning that game. Spectre, welcome to the members club. Thank you very much for joining a member on That's Football. That's really appreciated. You're a legend there. I've got more bounce than a trampoline at the moment because if you've tuned in a little bit late, I did have a major migraine at about 5 o'clock today, and I literally couldn't see properly, and I went for a long lie down, and I missed the first 5 minutes of the game. So yeah, I still don't feel that good, but it's getting better, man. It's getting better, man. Oh, that's an interesting message from an agent. Can I read it out? Of course I can't. Of course I can't. Oh. Say something. Shout it from the rooftops. Crash your head. Who's the best London club, says Spectre. Give me some nature. Give me some good conversations to keep me buzzing here. You know the score. If you've been on here before, you know how it works for me. It's Christian Pulisic. Christian Pulisic. I forgot he was on the bench for AC Milan. What a player he could have been. He's only the player Neymar thinks he could be. On the bench for AC Milan, you've got Adley, Pulisic, Reindeer, Jovic, Okafor. I like Okafor. I do like Okafor. Keep an eye on him. Okafor, Chiar, Florenzini, Sportielli, Musa, Marante, and Bartasei, and Dummett, Lascelles, Wilson, Targay, Barnes, Karius, Hall, Livramento, Almiron, Anderson, Miley, and Harris. Miley Harris. I tell you what, Targay, how he's never had a cap for France, I'll never know. I'll never understand it. Welcome to the Members Club, Spectre. Thank you very much. Mark, why did you change the name of the channel, Mark? Oh, well observed. Well observed. So basically, the channel used to be called Mark Goldbridge, That's Football. But I can't remember why I did that. It should be called That's Football. That's basically it. Alan Partridge from the Oast House. My boyfriend asks, would you rather have Man United drop to the Europa and have a chance to win it and qualify the Champions League because top four anyway seems hard this year, or stay and fight? Saley, I'm starting to believe you haven't got a boyfriend now. And Sean Dunn says, have you ever been to the Isle of Wight or know about it, Mark? Talking of good places to live, it's very chilled and surrounded by beaches, says Sean Dunn. I don't trust islands unless they're big, because I think that people who live on islands that are that small probably have some sort of weird cult and probably invite you around to camp, and then you think you're in a tent and actually you're in a big wicker idle person and they'll set it on fire. Yes, I have watched The Wicker Man. I need to set the timer up here. I'm too late again. 45 and 13. Oh, get on with it. Right, let's get it going. 24, 25, 26. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Do you think Celtic could pill off a surprise or two? I hope so. I think it's always nice to see British sides do well. Paul Matt says, Mark, it's Target and he's English. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm not falling for that. Motivation says, do you trust the ocean? No. My favourite water is a bath. You know what you're getting in a bath? Normally, for me, bit of molten brown, you know, sea salt or a bit of lavender. You know, just enough bubbles that it's nice, but it doesn't get in all your hair and up your crevice and all that. You can control the temperature. You can't go wrong with a bath. Probably a swimming pool second. And if I'm going wild, probably, you know, a shallow river with nice rocks and a bit of noise just to relax you, where you can leave the window open and go, that sounds nice. But yeah, the sea is a temperamental bitch. And don't get me started on big rivers like the Thames, the Liffey, the Mersey, or the Trent, or the Severn. They're dirty, disgusting water that looks like your toilet when you've got diarrhea. What about a lake, says Patrick? Well, as long as it's not Lake Placid and it's got a big fucking crocodile in it. The thing is, you're never going to find a shark or a crocodile in your bath when you've got your little, you know, your Radox in there. If you could play tomorrow like Newcastle are tonight, would you be happy, says Luke? Well, you could be sad because although it's 0-0, and I'd be very happy if I was a Newcastle fan, the bottom line is it could be 3-0. So it's luck of the draw, isn't it? Are you looking forward to FC 24, Mark, when it's out? I'm looking forward to getting back streaming Jokers. Yes, I am. What about an ice bath, Mark? Not a big fan of an ice bath or a cold shower. I think cold showers are for idiots who think that they're hard and probably have a name like Jonty or Daryl or Toby. Oh, I love a cold shower in the morning. Yeah. You're hiding from something. They probably have a cold shower because then they can go, it's only because it's a cold shower it's that big. It makes everything shrivel. Have a hot shower and let's see how big it is. In fact, don't. I don't want to look at it. Hi, Mark. Would you rather fight 20 angry chickens or 5 horny badgers? Mitchell, I wouldn't. Badgers have got TB. Whether it's horny or angry, a badger can really do you harm if it scratches you and gives you TB. I'm not scared of angry chickens. I mean, what's a chicken going to do? I'm not scared of a chicken. We're likely going to get battered by City tonight, but it's going to be great seeing 3,000 Red Star fans outclass the City fans. There are some things money can't buy, says Nemanja. Yeah, 100%, mate. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your night. I won't be watching it, but enjoy. Pretty much the same first 4 or 5 minutes here. Milan need that goal, you know. I just think the longer they don't score, the more Newcastle can just... Well, a point's a good result. A point's a good point for Newcastle anyway. Favourite song, music, artist? Mine is Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon and Garfunkel. Well, Luke, it's interesting because you've named a good song by Simon and Garfunkel, but you haven't even named the best song by Simon and Garfunkel. What about this? Sound of Silence. Hello, darkness, my old friend. That's the best Simon and Garfunkel song. And actually, there's a lovely song called Bright Eyes by Garfunkel. Not Simon. He was at the dentist. It's a song from Watership Down. It's a very sad song, but Sound of Silence is a very good song. Grace likes Ollie Murs. Grace, you've been blocked before. I'll block you again. Ollie Murs. Bloody Ollie Murs. Makes it worse that he supports Man United and gets invited all the time. The Man United website's always got, Ollie Murs came to see us today. He was on the training ground and he had a stadium tour. And I'm like, Get out. Ollie bloody Mers. Troublemaker. I'll give you some bloody trouble, Mers. Do you want some trouble? I'll give you some bloody trouble. Trouble to you in your protective blanket is probably running out of milk. You know what trouble is? I'll show you some bloody trouble. Trying to get by on £5 when you've got no money. Apart from £5, you need to buy food. Troublemaker. Watership Down, that's what it was called. Apart from that, though, I mean, he's generally probably a nice guy. Cats or dogs? I've had that. I've got a right headache. I'll tell you what, I'm just trying to beat it through being upbeat. Squawk says pot kettle black. Squawk, you're a coward. Say what you mean. Don't try and be clever because you're not. Stick your nose in this live chat. You'll get stung. You're not clever enough to start. So stop trying to be sarcastic or subliminal or whatever else is you're trying to be. Grey sweaters on. I've got no pants on either, just Kevin. I don't feel very well. Shot just wide from AC Milan. Are you on the spectrum, Mark? No, I've had a really bad migraine and I've taken some pills, paracetamol, responsibly. And I'm sort of in this world of, medicine bounce and still got a headache. Why does no one complain when Leao don't work hard, says Mario? Probably because we don't care, because we're not Milan fans. There is an Eric Ten Hag press conference, by the way. It's not taken place at the moment because this happens a lot in the Champions League and the Europa League. They're always bloody postponed because they'll be late getting there. So it's not actually happening at the moment. There will be reaction to it on the United stand when it starts, but at the moment it's not started. I don't think. Yeah, scheduled for 7:15 on the United stand, which is another 20 minutes away. Well, they're on the way, Newcastle here, to a very good point. Do you know when your fingers wrinkle in water, it's an evolutionary thing to allow you to grip underwater better, says Lee. That's stunning. That's a stunning stat or fact. Thiago Silva's latest tweet is shocking, says Sakin. Well, we're all going to have a look at it. Thiago Silva. He hasn't done a tweet. His latest tweet was August the 14th. Oh no. No, there's one from an hour ago. Oh, all he's saying is Champions League crying that he's not in it. That's not shocking, is it? He wants to play in the Champions League. Good player, Thiago Silva. I'd be very surprised if he did something unprofessional. Why is Gary Neville scared of doing a podcast with you, Stephen? I don't know. I mean, look, very successful guy, but maybe he's just got that thing that some people have where they avoid battles they can't win, I suppose. I mean, it's a good path to success. A lot of boxers do it. A lot of boxers can have really good careers because they'll avoid certain fights where they think that's not going to do me any favours. So, look, I'm flattered by it, but yeah, I don't really. I only used to talk about it because everyone said we need him on the overlap. Ben says your ego is disgusting. Ben has got no clue what sarcasm is. Ben's a shit name anyway. If you call Ben, you're a twat. I've just decided. Everyone called Ben's a twat. Trying to think if there's anyone called Ben that I know or like. No, I'm in the free. And no one called Ben plays for Man United either. It's all good. Ben Dover says first. I'm trying to think of... Oh, Ben. Oh, no, Ben Foster. Oh, I don't mean it. I don't mean it. Ben's a lovely name. Ben. I forgot about that, Ben. Oh. I was only joking. I did it. I did it for a laugh. Yeah. Yeah. It's because I call him Fozzie. And what about Obi-Wan Kenobi? Ben Kenobi. I love him as well. I've let myself down. Who's the top 3 Bens in the world? I think Ben Kenobi, Ben Foster, and Ben Shepherd. Ben Thornton. I've offended everyone called Ben now. Santi Jimenez scoring in the Champions League, says Arturo. I blame it on the migraine. I can't think straight. Literally. Ben Stiller's very good. AC Milan with the cross. Headed away. Is it bad finishing or good defending from... is it bad finishing from Milan or is it good defending from Newcastle? Or is it what I think, a mixture of the two? Did you know that more people die from vending machines than shark attacks yearly? Says Gucci. Yeah, but that's only because more people put their fucking hands in a vending machine than they do in a shark. I mean... How do you die? How does a vending machine kill someone anyway? Is it... I don't even get that, Gucci. What they do, trying to shag it and it falls on them. They are heavy. They fall on them, says Ed. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If you could have one-on-one interview with any retired player, who would you choose, Mark, says Dorian? That's a good question. I think Beckham is just... Beckham comes to mind. Just because of the period of my life when I was like younger watching football. I absolutely loved him as a player. We're finished for Bayern tomorrow, says B3. But then you've got to say Lionel Messi would be pretty good to do as well. What about Roy Keane? I think he's ruined himself doing stuff with Carragher and Neville, really. He's diluted himself. You know, he's made himself more, you know, real. Who'd win in a foot race? A vending machine or Harry Maguire, says Chris the Red. Well, he's injured at the moment, so... I think Newcastle are growing in confidence defensively. Not really doing anything offensively, but offensively, I think they're growing in confidence. Lovely play by Chukwueze. Got to go wide. Score prediction for Man United and Bayern. I've said it before. I said it on the preview today. I think Bayern will win. I think United have got to pick Scott McTominay because we've got no bloody midfielders, and I just think that Bayern are the better side and they will beat us. I reckon the shark attack death is much more unpleasant than the vending machine death, says V2. Oh, I don't know. Imagine if a vending machine fell on top of you, it might not be instantaneous. It might be a suffocation. Whereas a shark, and I have thought this through, if they bite your head off, then it would be quite quick. I mean, admittedly, if they bite your leg off first, it's going to take longer. Do you think Leao is better than Rashford, says Mandem? The Mandem. No. I'm very happy with Rashford. I'd just like him to have more strings to his bow. Oh, Newcastle were in there, and it was nearly Tonali, but he was offside. What about Ryan Giggs? I've already interviewed Ryan Giggs. I think Tomori's been good. A couple of subs here for Milan. Pulisic is coming on for Chukwueze. I can't wait to have a bath tonight. Latest documentary you've seen, Arturo? The most recent documentary I watched was Fury. Yeah. Buying apparently want McTominay, says Michael. Yeah, yeah. And Margot Robbie wants me. Not I can't really come back from that. It's, it's the same sort of thing. I watched Top Boy. I watched that Dispatches thing with Russell Brand, but I don't think that's a documentary, is it? I think it's actually it's more than that. My last boyfriend tried lifting a vending machine, says Saley. Yeah. What was he called? Bobby Make Believe? Or Danny Doesn't Exist? Or Ian Invisible? Glazers aren't accountable for the poor form of the team, says Chris. Ten Hag is meant to coach the players, motivate and bring the team together. You've gone backwards. Thank you. And how often do you think about the Roman Empire, says Harry? What was that all about? What was that all about? I felt like I was on the edge of the cool gang last night. Everyone's going on about the Roman Empire. And I'm like, I don't know what it means. It probably means something that is, boomers or zoomers, whatever it is. I don't know what it's all about. It probably, Roman Empire probably means you like pegging or something. I don't know. Jack says a point for Newcastle at this stage would be great. Well, that's what I mean. It's sort of getting to that point now, isn't it? Where I think they've grown in confidence in relation to it's still 0-0. Dale says, what do you think about the Russell Brand controversy? I mean, I don't really want to get into it, if I'm being honest with you. But what I will say is that, and I think, look, I don't know. I've got no reason to really have a horse in the race. Another shot from AC Milan, straight at the keeper. But what I would say is that, these matters need to go to court. Because it's just the court of public opinion, isn't it, again? And I said this about Greenwood. Once it's in the court of public opinion, it's people make their minds up, don't they? But, it's... I don't really know what to say, Dale, to be honest. It's... You can get yourself into more trouble observing about it, can't you? What's your favourite retro kits from any club? Says Boo. Well, Arsenal. I liked that kit they had in the early 90s that was yellow with the black triangles upside down on it. I quite like that with the JVC on. Other kits. I can never say I liked a Liverpool kit because it's got a Liverpool badge on it. I can't think of anything. My head's too gone. It's gone. Leighton says the AC Milan will score in the 77th minute. Will Sheffield United go down? Did the Titanic go down? There's your answer. Get a stretch in, says Davey. Yeah, good idea. Do you like Zlatan, Mark? Says Simon. Not as much as other people do. I think Zlatan's very. I think Zlatan's brilliant, but I don't like him as much as some people do. I think some people hold him up as like one of the greatest ever, and I don't. Ow. Just had that thing. I don't know whether to explain it. I have said it before. Sharp pain in the anus. Who's got the nicest kit this season? Mine's Bayern's black and purple kit, says Ben. I'm glad that you feel encouraged to still put chats in, Ben, after what I said. Where would Madrid finish in the Premier League, says Zetti. Well, I think Man City are better than them, so second at best. I think Milan do need to score because at St James's Park it'll be a different game, and I think when you look at this group, it's about, I think PSG are probably going to be the favourites. So, Joshy says Divinandino didn't work at United. Do you have a favourite Smith song? Says Roblox. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. It's about the bus, double-decker bus, and the light that never goes out. Cookie says, do you prefer Indian or Chinese takeaway? Depends on the mood, mate. Mark, Social Blade says you make 600k a year, says SF. Yeah, but everyone knows Social Blade's wrong. And where do you think Man United will end this season, says Ghost? I don't know. The next few weeks are very important in relation to the Premier League games that we've got, which should set the tone. Shell likes pegging, apparently. That's what she's just said there. What's for tea? I've already had it. Fish pie. And that's not... Don't start getting disgusting. It genuinely was fish pie. Potatoes with fish in it and a nice sauce. Yeah, melted cheese on top, Lee. Got to do it. Got to do it. Paul's not a fan of fish pie. There is a light and it never goes out, says Matt. Unlike Greenwood, the Russell case has got no evidence, says Mo. Yeah, we don't really want to get into this. And big fan Mark, what Premier League manager, past or present, would you take at United to help sort this out, says Chris. Well, I'm more than happy with Ten Hag. I don't think any manager sorts this out. That's the whole problem. If you could bring one Arsenal player to Manchester United, who would it be? At this moment in time, Declan Rice, Vesco, because the midfield is absolute shit. Look, I like Saka, I like Odegaard, but we desperately need defensive midfielders, and so I'd take Declan Rice. I wish we'd bloody gone for him anyway. I like Saliba as well. I like Raya. Are you Scottish, says Kevin? No. Will you miss Goodison Park when Everton move out? Yep, Arturo, I will. It's January, isn't it? Yeah, I'm really going to miss Goodison. That's going to... for somebody who's not even an Everton fan, it's going to make me sad when Goodison goes. You know, even when I play FIFA, I look forward to playing at Goodison. It's going to be really... You know why I like Goodison Park? Because I remember it as a kid. I remember, like, seeing Goodison Park as a kid, and there's not many grounds now. You know, Old Trafford's not the same as when I was a kid. It's not. It's still old, but it's, you know, the stadia has changed. Whereas Goodison Park always, I know it's gone from standing to seated, but Goodison Park always just feels the same as it did in the 80s. Don't shoot from there. He did. And he was a bit silly. Daniel says, that's what I mean when I say English food is shocking. What is fish pie, Mark? Come to New York ASAP. Mark, what's the go-to snack to have with beer in the UK, says Harish. You know, to be honest, if you go in a pub, we tend to just drink our beer. This whole snack thing's probably more American than it is UK. I mean, scampi fries, you'd eat them. I don't think they're called scampi fries. They're nice. Scampi something. They make your fingers stink, but they're nice. Some people have nuts. I'd never eat nuts in a bar. And what are they called, them scampi things? Bacon fries, some people have them. Some people have pork scratching. People don't really eat snacks. Maybe a bag of crisps. Yeah, scampi fries, they're nice. They are called scampi fries, says Alex. There we go, it's been confirmed. They're nice. I mean, I don't think many... The pub I go in, the pub I frequent would never sell scampi fries. It's a nice pub in a nice area. And they do very good food, actually. "20 minutes to go." Who would you take from the Liverpool team? I'm not so sure about who I mean, I have to take one of your midfielders. I mean, we've still got to see what Gravenberch's all about at Liverpool. That's exciting. Eating's cheating. Didn't there used to be a snack called cheese puffs that were like scampi fries, but they had like soft cheese in the middle? I think I might be making that up. I don't like pork scratchings. Cheesy moments, that's what they were called. No, I've not seen them for ages. Cheesy moments. That was it. Cheese flavoured moments. Haven't seen them for ages. They were from the same makers as scampi fries, basically. So some pubs would have them. Leaks now, Mark. It never ends. Says enjoy writing. What you talk about sounds like slow sports news. Harry Maguire. This is from Ten Hag. Ten Hag on Harry Maguire. He had some complaints. We have to see how bad it is. He finished training but was not ready to travel. Lost his passport. Gosh, it doesn't half take it out of you, a migraine. I'm feeling very yawny. AC Milan, oh, across the face of the 6-yard box, and Newcastle clear for a corner. Did you know Philip Lahm once went 13 months without committing a single foul, says Gucci. Wow. And Sparky says, hi Mark, where do you think West Ham will finish this season? And also, how far will they get in the Europa League? I mean, look, I genuinely think for West Ham, 9th would be good. When you consider you've got Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, Newcastle, Brighton, Villa, Spurs, maybe Chelsea. You know, 9th or 10th is actually quite good, isn't it? Oh, another block. And another block. I mean, Milan are hitting the shots well, but they're either straight at the keeper or they get blocked. Danger says, has Pope proven he's England #1 tonight? No. Hi, Mark. Can you support Collingwood in the AFL? Says Christopher. And Mark, does Eric Ten Hag survive this witch hunt? It's sad, says Bill. I've not heard anything new about a witch hunt, so I don't know. Have I been to the Boot Inn in Lapworth, says Marshall. Lovely food. Lovely food at the Boot Inn in Lapworth. Yes, I like it. I've not been for a while, but they do nice food. Newcastle have been good defensively, says Blue. Well, they're on the break here. It's Almiron trying to go straight. Tomori's dealt with him very well, though. 15 to go. What is Liao doing there? I'm going to sneeze. I'm going to sneeze. Hi, Mark. What would Roy Keane make of the United bust-up, says Connor. He'd sort it out. He'd sort it out. Yeah, but like I was saying about this group, if Newcastle get a draw here and then beat Milan at home, that basically moves Milan out the way. Can they get Dortmund out the way for second? So it's a massive point for Newcastle if they get it. Top 5 favourite rival team players, says Terry. I can't think of that, Terry. I'm just recovering from a migraine. My mind's like, about 20% what it can do. I didn't sneeze. I thought I was going to sneeze. It didn't come. Just Keevan says it's a boring game. I don't think it's been a boring game for a 0-0, considering the first half an hour was very good. They just didn't put the ball in the back of the net. Because we need each other. We believe in one another. And I know we're gonna uncover sleeping in our soul. Armanian's gone down injured here for AC Milan. Still 12 minutes to go. I think these paracetamol are starting to wear off. Is Maignan going to come off injured here? Hi Mark, how do you think Arsenal will do in the Champions League? And thoughts on the North London derby, says Reese. I can't wait for the North London derby. We'll be doing a watch-along of that on Sunday. I would imagine Arsenal go through the groups quite comfortably. They are subbing off Maignan here. I think they'll go through the group stage quite comfortably. And then it's about the draw you get, isn't it? I mean, you could... As we know, the group stage of the Champions League can get really difficult. Sorry, the knockout stage can get quite difficult. But they'll fancy the chances. They'll fancy the chances. Ibuprofen is better, says Andy. I might have a couple of them in a minute. And Ulysses says, after this game, how the hell can Southgate justify Tomori not starting for England? He can't be that deluded. Mate, he is deluded. I mean, since Maguire played for... I mean, this season, Man United have played, or will have... Tomorrow night, Man United will have played 6 games. Maguire's must have played about half an hour. Are you looking forward to EAFC? I am. I am looking forward to it because I like my career modes, as you know, but I've never done a career mode with Goldbridge ball. And what I mean is by like my tactics, I always just go 4-3-3 and copy what United do, and I'm not this year. I'm actually going to implement my style of play. High line, overlapping fullbacks, passing style. I'll probably abandon it after 2 games, but yeah, looking forward to it. Mates rate, says Louise O'Donoghue. Hope you're doing well. My head is a hurting. Gotham City. Still 10 to go. What would your England centre-back pairing be for the Euros, says Ben? It's got to be John Stones. And, I mean, I would give Dunk, Colwill and Tamori a proper chance, if I'm being honest. Because I think they're all better than Maguire. And they're all playing as well. It's very hard to make a case for Maguire when he doesn't actually play. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. You're all very welcome. I don't know what we're doing for subscribers, but bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. My next watch-along is Man United Bayern tomorrow, which is on the United stand. Massive game. Even if you don't support United, I actually think we're going to get beat. I never predict we're going to lose, but I think we're going to beat. And did you notice I won win, lose or draw against Foster? Get in the bin, Ben. He said we were actually level going into the final Premier League game. He said Forest would win. I said a draw. Back of the net. That's a tenner for me. Oh, Guehi. How do you pronounce Guehi from Palace? I always go Guehi, but is it gay? He? I don't know. North London Derby score prediction, says Dr. Pillow. I actually think that Arsenal win that one. But you know what? What an opportunity for them. It's Guehi. There we go. Ricardo says EAFC is shit. I haven't played it. I don't know what it's all about. Copite says you're looking cute, Mark. And this is me on a 2. This is me recovering from a migraine and desperately wanting a bath. Imagine what I'm like when I'm up for it. Nozza says Tottenham are definitely winning. Well, we'll be doing a watch-along together for that one, so make sure you tune in. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Get involved with That's Football. You're all very welcome. And as I said, this is looking like a good point for Newcastle. A very good point. If you've not listened to the Goldbridge Saves Football podcast, links in the live chat. Give it a download now to listen later. You'll really enjoy it. Get involved with it. We're giving away a prize actually next week, so get ready for that next Tuesday. But really good sections, some funny bits as well, I think. But really interesting conversation about the new structure of the Champions League that comes in next year, which I think is rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Chris is confident that United will win tomorrow. Can also say thank you to all the super chats as well. You're legends. Thanks for supporting the channel. Here we go, Milan. Oh, Leao should have passed there. He should have passed. Can Milan do it in the last 5 minutes? I'd feel sorry for Newcastle if Milan scored in the last minutes because they should have scored loads of times, but it's so close to the end now. You almost feel that Newcastle deserve the point that they're so close to getting. Cross into the box. Pope gets that. What's your favourite and least favourite Beatles song? Says Ignorant Weed. I actually think the Beatles are overrated. I'm not joking. I genuinely think they're a bit samey. It's all about Favourite Beatles song? Probably You Really Got Me Now. You know, you really got me going. You got me so I can't sleep at night. You really got me. I like that. Yeah, I find him a bit samey. It's a very controversial thing to say that about the Beatles, but I'm not their biggest fan. Milan on the attack. Oh my God. Another block. Simply Red or Rod Stewart, Mark? One. I do like some Simply Red, but Rod Stewart is good. Oh, the rhythm of my heart. It's beating like a drum. And the words of Tom. There's a song by Rod Stewart that I absolutely love. I'm going to tell you now. What is it? There's a song. Baby Jane. Baby Jane, don't leave me hanging on the line. Yeah, I love it. Cracker. How far do you think Brighton will go in the Europa League? I think they've got to look to win it. I mean, they're capable of beating anybody in world football. So it's just about whether they can cope with Thursday, Sunday football. This is a good result for Newcastle if they get it. It really is. And they're on the break here. I mean, is it going to happen? I said there was a feeling it could happen. And it's not going to happen there. Liao's been very wasteful, says Calming. Definitely. Here's Giroud. He's done well. Look at the pace of Giroud. He's 95. He needs some help. I shoot straight at Pope. Do you like the Elman Brothers band or the Grateful Dead, says Alex? Whoosh. "88 minutes. What are your thoughts on the Arctic Monkey?" says Atoro. Yeah, again, they're okay. I think I've. Would you beat Giroud in a race? He's quite fast. Favourite U2? I like U2, Lewis Walsh. I like you too, but I like U2 the band as well. Some songs I like by U2. The Fly, Where the Streets Have No Name, Wild Horses, I love that. You're dangerous, 'cause you're honest. Yeah, that's a good song. I like U2. There's nothing better than being in Dublin at about 10 o'clock in a pub and they put a bit of U2 on. Oh, you can't beat it. Thoughts on the Kinks? I've never heard of them. Nidge. Where's the stats? There they are. 24 shots, 9 on target. I've got to do a tweet. I've got to. Harvey Barnes is coming on for Isaac. Yeah, so there it is. 24 shots for Newcastle. Not for Newcastle. 24 shots for AC Milan. 9 on target. Newcastle haven't had a shot on target. It's a great point for Newcastle, but when you've had that much pressure, AC Milan, if this ends in a draw, they'll be kicking themselves. They'll probably miss themselves at that, wouldn't they? Maguire's not starting against Bayern because he's injured. And Kevin says, I'm a Newcastle fan and it's embarrassing. Yeah, but you know what? I can actually see Newcastle getting through because you've got a point at the San Siro. You beat them at St James's Park. That's 4 points. And that really will get rid of AC Milan. So it's just what you do against Dortmund, really. He's only added on 5 minutes here. Who's gonna run your wild horses? Yeah. Who's gonna run in front of me? Yeah, la la la. Yeah, la la la. Dangerous because you're honest. Well, thanks everyone who's been tuning in today. A 0-0 is it's embarrassing, isn't it? But it is what it is, and you know, we could have had loads of goals. I mean, as far as 0-0s goes, it's not been the worst 0-0 in the world, but Milan will be frustrated. Newcastle will be ecstatic. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way, bottom right hand corner. We've got some great watch-alongs coming up as well. With what a bit of defending that was by Trippier, by the way. Great tackle, and he kept the ball in. But we've got some great watch-alongs coming up for you. Probably do Saturday 3 o'clock, and of course the North London Derby on Sunday. Also, don't forget to download the podcast and give it a listen. Brand new out today. Goldbridge Saves Football. Links in the live chat. City watch along tonight, Marks, Gareth. I'd rather watch you in the bath, Gareth. And I really wouldn't want to. I'm not. I mean, some people might want to watch Gareth in the bath. For me, that would be disgusting. So that's what I mean. I don't want to watch Man City. I think the only people who are going to watch Man City play Red Star are Red Star and Man City fans, because why, if you don't like Man City, you'd watch them just completely play somebody off the park? I don't know. It's like watching your missus get it on with somebody better than you. HDN says he'd like to watch Gareth. What's your number? I don't know whether Gareth wants that sort of thing. Live stream from a bath. In the bath with Goldbridge. Not doing that. Camera slips down, you're in trouble. Newcastle, into the last minute, they're on the attack. Surely not. Almiron, surely not. Welcome, Gems, to the Members Club. Here we go. Oh, I tell you what, I thought they were going to do it. He's just whacked it over the bar. Longstaff. Nearly. Saved by the keeper. Do I think Newcastle will beat Milan at St James's Park? Well, on this, you wouldn't think so, but it'll be a different game. Newcastle at attack. It'll probably flip the other way. Come on, the Celtic. Mark, are you doing EAFC career mode? Kieran, I am. Keep your eyes and ears open for where I'm going to start that on Friday, but I'm really excited about it. Newcastle have got a corner here. It's probably going to be the last action of the game. I've played the game. If you weren't aware, Erik ten Hag's press conference has just been completed for Manchester United as well. And we're live on the United stand at the moment reacting to it. So I'm going to hop over there straight away after this is over. So join us over there. But let's just see what happens here. Thanks everyone who's tuned in over here, by the way. And it's another corner for AC Milan. And I think is he blowing up? Or is he giving a foul? I think he's giving a foul. Oh, I don't know what the foul was for. No, he's blowing the whistle. And that's it. Okay, let's get over to the United stand. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to listen to the podcast or download it for later. Goldbridge Saves Football, links in the live chat, or just search it out. I'll push you over to the United stand. We're reacting to Ten Hag's press conference. Of course, Maguire is the latest injury as well. Speak to you all in a bit. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.